I want to show you guys my ring, and I'm going to transition to the fire ring real quick. 15, 18, 83. Let's go to the fire ring. 13, 91, 17.
It's showtime.
What? Yo, what's up guys? It's Lost Groove. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm finally back with some more webcam content. You guys were asking for that a lot more, or I guess face cam, but more face cam content. So I apologize, I look quite tired. I didn't really sleep very well, but you know, we chilling. We got some dubs today on stream. If you guys you know, check that out. I appreciate y'all who were in there. But besides that, I just wanted to talk about kind of the problem we have right now with Merciless gear. I think it's a commonly accepted thing that the gear audit was one of the most overhyped and honestly disappointing changes to come to Wiz in the past few years. Whenever we heard about a gear audit coming to Wiz a few months, years ago, we thought, okay, awesome, dude. All of the gear is gonna get looked at. Pay to win gear is gonna get nerfed, stuff like that. All this kind of gear is gonna get changed and stuff. And so finally, with the mention of dual school, we thought, okay, you know, maybe they're gonna make some of the school, you know, they're gonna add extra pieces of gear that are dual school that you can craft. You know what I mean? Like maybe some extra PvP gear or something. So that's what we originally thought, but unfortunately, you know, it's kind of been forced onto us to dual school with this new gear. So it's kind of, you know, changed up a lot of the game. It's kind of, you know, been a thing that's been kind of overtaking it. But the only thing that I haven't noticed overtake it is offensive dual schooling, which is what they honestly wanted us to do, and just nobody's doing it, man. Like, it's just, it doesn't work. So overall, we haven't really been seeing anybody, you know, try to take that step. I mean, of course, there's been some ice. I've seen the people who did that challenge, they go on their ice and they try to, like, use a Wraith and stuff, but that was, like, last meta. That was before that even... Pretty sure that was before this update even happened, so... Yeah, I mean, overall, dual schooling has been something that's kind of been, you know, important and has been a big part of this new gear audit. And honestly, to be frank, besides just dual schooling, this gear audit just sucks. To be honest, like, it's not good. Like... And there's a few reasons for that. I'll go into the reasons real quick and I'll kind of explain them. But the first reason is I do feel like, you know, generally, the gear audit heavily preferred the defensive schools. And not just heavily, I mean like ridiculously. Like, it's not even funny how much the defensive schools were favored in this new gear audit. Let's be real. And I'll just show my first example. So this is my death stats. I'm missing the Merciless death one, so I will say stats will be a little bit mismatched. But overall, if I'm running full Merciless gear with the Mastery and this pet, this is the gear I get, or this is the stats I get. So I get 10,000 HP, which is insane, by the way. For death, it's pretty solid. I think that's where death should be health-wise. 154 damage, which is, okay, looking kind of dumb now. Look kind of ridiculous. 53 res, okay, a little bit low for a death, to be fair, not gonna lie. 21 accuracy, okay, got perfect accuracy. Okay, without Merciless one, I'm getting almost 600 crit and almost 500 block. So I'm getting basically almost the same block as let's say, you know, Liam over here, right? 657 when he's running, I'm pretty sure he's running Merciless wand, isn't he? Whether he is or not, I mean, regardless, I'm still getting insane, like I'm getting still insane crit. 557, and then the block difference without even having the Merciless wand is crazy. Like, crit and block was handled a little bit better than the other stats, but this is just a start, you know what I mean? Pierce. Ready to see his Pierce with the full Merciless gear? 50. Mine? 44. And you might think, yeah, 6 Pierce, that's fair, right? That's fair. And you look at his pips. 99 pips. Literally not even max pips. That's the crazy part. So he doesn't even get max pips with Rock Mount. I'm running Rock Mount, but like obviously I don't have it on. So his Merciless gear setup, of course, the same thing. Literally the exact same pet, the exact same everything. Blah, blah, blah. And so, you compare these two, look at this difference. 9 damage that through the intersection, KI has to know, doesn't mean anything. For 10 resist, what, 1.8k HP, you know, the crit and block about the same, but trade-off is fair. For 6 more Pierce, like, this isn't good. Like, they have to know that under 50 res is bad on an offensive school, and running over 150 damage or 155 damage is really bad on an offensive school, because you get completely shafted with the intersect, while resist gets no punishments whatsoever. You can have as high resist as you want to and be perfectly fine. Look at Ice, for example. They contend with some of the best stats in the game right now, because they run 70 res, 76 to certain schools if they're running Highland, And on top of that, they still get 130 damage. They still get like 30 something pierce. They still get really, you know, solid offensive stats. And with one of the best hitting shields in the game, Bomb, like, how can you really, like, how could you even really, like, stack up these offensive schools, defensive schools right now? And that's not even to mention the balance school, which basically controls all of your, leverages as an offensive school to get damage on them. So realistically, if a balance is playing correctly in this meta, in my opinion, they should never lose to an offensive school. Genuinely, never. And the only one that could even contend for that is Death, considering their stats right now. Realistically, balance shouldn't be losing to Storm or Fire whatsoever, period. You should not be able to lose, you should not be losing trades at those schools right now. Because you objectively have, like, if I could pull up the stats right now, you objectively get way better stats, some insane gear, you know, you get some, like, ridiculous amount of, you know, ways to leverage damage and stop people from getting damage on you, on top of your amazing stats, that I just feel like the defensive schools besides Life are just kind of left with the god gear once again, you know? And the only thing that kept Fire contending with Ice and Balance a few years ago was genuinely just their spells. Fire had one of the best hitting debuffs in the game, if not the best. They have some great shads, they have some great options. But now that the game's a lot more balanced spell-wise, where's the gear balance? It kind of makes me have that question, like, why did some of these gear pieces line up with each other like that? Like, look at this. And I haven't even mentioned the biggest thing about these two pieces, accuracy. Why does he get 2% more accuracy on the Storm School? And there's a reason why this is such a big deal. If you look at any of the meta pets right now for Balance or Ice, notice how a lot of them are either not running D-Lance or not running Sniper. You want to know why? Because you don't need either of them most of the time running certain gear setups. Which means, want to know what you can put on those you know, specific pet talents? Ward talents, which basically make you auto-win to any of your losing matchups. Let's say you're a Balance who sucks at playing against Death. Oh, there we go. It's whether my Sniper would be on the Death pet. There goes my Death Ward. Or, oh, let's say I'm an Ice player who doesn't know how to beat, you know, let's say a Balance. I'll just put my Balance Ward on, and it's not like the Balance is going to ward back because it's a winning matchup. So it just doesn't make sense. There's no balance, you know? There's no real, like, gear balance, and I feel like Gear Audit was, like, one of the most unfinished and lame things to come, you know? And I'm kind of disappointed. Like, why is the Merciless Ring giving Storm 1 more damage and 14 more crit? Why is the Athame the only balanced piece out of every single one of them? 4 damage difference. Sure, that's fair. Exactly. Like, that's like, why is this piece of gear fair? And then every single one of the pieces of gear in the Merciless, you know, array of stuff just, like, completely unfair. You know what I mean? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. Like, look at this robe. Why are you getting 7 accuracy on a Storm robe when there's a 15 accuracy discrepancy? You know what I mean? Between shads. Like, that's crazy. Like, my spells are 15% I need to have max accuracy besides shads, and Storm is 30, yet they're getting almost the exact same accuracy on all these different pieces of gear. It makes no sense. And it's not even just Storm. If I go hop on my Fire and show you guys, like, some of the discrepancies, I want to show you guys my ring, and I'm going to transition to the Fire ring real quick. 15, 18, 83. Let's go to the Fire ring. 13, 91, 17. What? Isn't this supposed to be the second highest damage school? Like, I don't have my Rock or my D-Lance right now, so ignore the pips, but, like, 141 damage with the best stats for Fire? Really? That's what I get? Like, I get 141 damage, you know, so pretty much the same res as you know, a Death. 500 less health, you know, same accuracy deal, same crit, less pierce. I'm basically getting less damage, less pierce, with the most, like, reliable setup. And not to mention, I'm running Motorist robe. I'm not even running Merciless Fire robe. Don't even get me started on how bad that robe is, dude. It's so bad. Like, look at look at how bad this is, man. And then if you look at any other Merciless robe, like the Death robe, for example. So if you think Fire got screwed, look at this, dude. Hold up. Let me put this on real quick. Let me compare me and Liam's stats. Look at this, man. Look. 4 damage, 2 pierce with only 2 more res? Like, what? I'm pretty sure, like, Death gets 8 pierce on their robe. So why? Like, when did Death become the second highest damage school? I don't understand. And literally everybody can agree the only thing that keeps Death in its current position is literally just their stats. Their stats are ridiculously good and better than any of the offensive schools by far, bar none. So overall, man, I just think this gear audit thing totally screwed over offensive schools. Don't get me wrong, Fire and Storm still have a fighting chance, so does Myth. They all do have a fighting chance in this meta. They're not bad or anything. Just, I don't understand why we kind of have to, like, fight against the gear audit and somehow try to make our schools, like, viable. Like, I feel like the only reason Storm is, you know, even competing is because of their hit and buff spells and their ability to create leverage and pressure and stuff like that in battle or in PvP. But overall, like, just think about schools like Fire. Like, right now, I literally have no options to create damage. You know what I mean? All I can really do is just use my utility, use E-Free, hope I can get some damage off. And by the way, this deck has been working for me, surprisingly. So, you know, I mean, I don't know. I feel like offensive schools stats really need another audit this summer. They're really just not good right now, man. And I feel like we really need to spend some time to look at and evaluate. Maybe my idea that came up in Liam's video, which you guys might see uploaded sometime this week, is I think there should be a ratio, kind of like how there is with damage per pip. Like, obviously, Fire E-Free is not going to do the same damage as, let's say, you know, or sorry, I guess a better example is Leprechaun's not going to do the same damage as, like, let's say, Storm's, you know, Thunderbat. So it's obviously going to be almost a double damage difference. Or not double, like 80 at least, right? A huge damage difference at that. And for some reason, that damage gap does not make a difference if the school has either superior utility or superior stats, which they do on every single, you know, on every single school. Schools like Fire and Storm need better stats to be able to compete. And I'm sorry, like, I understand Fire and Storm do not have bad spells. I understand it's not their spells that are the problem. It's never been that way, and that can be looked at a later date. But as of right now, the gear audit and stat audit needs to be addressed before we even look at certain spells that can be buffed to make Fire even remotely more viable. There should be a ratio for damage, pierce, resist, accuracy, etc. that's used, you know, for Fire and Storm, and in any school for that matter. Like, I feel like they shouldn't just eyeball it and be like, well, that makes sense. No, I feel like they should be using some sort of ratio, some sort of formula to find out what will come out of Fire stats. Like, for example, if I'm a Fire, I should have like 90% of Storm's damage and 90% of Storm's pierce. Maybe you disagree with me on that one, maybe you don't. Maybe, and then I should have like, you know, 110% of their resist and like maybe 105% of their health. That's the trade-off, right? That's what makes it fair, and that's not how it is. Like, look at the hats. There's a big discrepancy between hats. I don't know where Liam went. Like, why as a Fire, listen, I already hate how bad Storm's stats are, but why as a Fire am I getting the same damage, same pierce for one more resist? That makes no sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then you compare it to the death stats, and it's an even bigger problem. I don't know. I feel that death is so good just because of its stats, and Fire and Storm are really struggling right now just because of how their ability to trade is. And of course, there's some great Storm players in queue, like don't forget my homie William and like a few other people. William's the main one that comes to mind. But still are doing great on Storm. I understand Storm still has some great spells. I'm never saying that they need buff their spells. They just really, the gear shouldn't work this way, whether it makes Storm OP or not. The gear shouldn't work this way. Realistically, in a meta where Storm actually, or where gear actually work properly, Storm would probably be, you know, same power as like Myth Mandar, but right now they're not even close, considering the fact that, you know, like the stats on Storm are just uncomparable and just not even good. So overall, just they need to start using a sort of ratio for their damage, pierce, resist, and health and block, etc. I don't really think it's balanced what they're doing here. If you added up all the stats together and compared them between, an example I had today was smoring someone for 2600, 7 pip, wide open, no buffs, right? 1230 to 1350. This balance I played against, not a very well-liked guy, but, you know, this balance I played against, who's running one of his talents and sacrifices it for a ward talent, right? And, you know, is again balanced, not supposed to be a super hard-hitting school. I send my 7 pip smore for 2600. He sends his mock back, his 6-pick mock back for 2600. Do the math. That's equal, by the way. If you guys didn't know, that's literally pretty much equal in comparison to the pip ratio. So where is the balance? I'm hoping that open hits, you know, will balance each other out. I'm hoping that hits will do less, and that as a balance with more health, more resist, more ability to, you know, win those trades with your utility, you should be able to do less damage, you know, not like 1,000,000. But again, you guys see the problem here. I won't keep ranting. Regardless, I'd hope if you guys can discuss some of the problems and maybe, you know, give some solutions in the comments. I said what I think my solutions are, but you guys might have totally different ideas. I'd really love to hear them. But yeah, hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and peace out. See you guys.